Okay, it's great to speak today with Hans Peter Zurbruegg, the Senior Vice President, Personal Corporate Fitness at Infront Sports. HP, is that okay? We can go with
HP is perfect.
HP is perfect. Great.
Gary.
How are you doing? You okay?
Yes, thank you very much, Gary. No, I'm totally fine. Actually, I'm just returned from vacation, so I'm full of energy now to tackle the challenges that the COVID-19 basically causes. And no, I'm very thankful. I would say that my family and my team at Infront, that we stayed totally healthy through the entire phase, and we have a good spirit, even though it's a tough time. But we have a very good spirit to tackle the challenges. And I hope you understand my Swiss accent, by the way.
Your Swiss accent is very clear indeed. Don't worry about that at all.
No
so
problem.
Maybe, can you tell us a bit about Infront, how your business is structured? That would probably be a really good starter to take.
Sure. No, as you probably know, Infront is one of the few so-called, I would say, 360-degree service providers. So we really offer a full set of solutions to our partners, whether it's the classic, I would say, sponsorship, classic media rights, but now we have also an entire, quite a big digital solution unit. We have event operations, we do activations, and we also do a lot of media production, actually.
So it's a lot of activity, and you guys, you're part of Wanda, correct?
Yes. Yes.
So before, obviously, when IRONMAN Group was part of Wanda, you were a sister company, but now you're separate, but still friendly, essentially. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, we are part of the Wanda Sports Group, that is Nasdaq stock listed, and before basically IRONMAN was our sister company, and now it's a third-party company. But I mean, they are still a strategic partner and work very closely. Also from my background, and we have very close relationship with IRONMAN, and we are based in Switzerland. The headquarters is remained in Switzerland, and as you probably know, our key market obviously is Europe, including obviously UK. UK is still with Europe in our market. Exactly. And then of course Asia and China is of course also a big focus. But we have of course offices China in Asia all over, in Europe all over, and we have global operations, wherever the events might be.
Yeah. So you obviously, with your role being on the personal corporate fitness side of things, that's really interesting. It'd be good to talk about that. Maybe also if you can outline, in terms of mass participation events, the kind of areas that you're in, because there's the Hyrox,
exactly,
B2C. Obviously, you acquired Threshold Sports in the UK. So it'd be interesting to get a bit of background on that. And it was also how things have been with that business in particular in recent months. I'm guessing it's pretty challenging.
No, sure. So personal corporate fitness, the personal corporate fitness division is one of 4, let's say, core pillars at Infront. So we have the pro sports that deals with the classic football media rights, football sponsorships. Then we are also in winter sports. We have a partnership with all the Olympic federations in winter sports. Then we do a lot of summer sports, namely basketball and handball. Then the second pillar is digital and production, and you may be aware that our 100% daughter company HPS, they also every 4 years they produce the FIFA World Cup, so they are quite specialized in this. Then we have also a new esports division, and the fourth pillar, as I said, is personal corporate fitness, and there we have basically a B2C component and also a B2B component. So we divide basically our personal corporate fitness division in 3 sub-pillars, so to say. It's more the traditional side. So we work, for example, we have a strategic partnership with the Berlin Marathon. We also have a partnership with the overall World Marathon Major series. Then we own the Roma Marathon. We work with the Frankfurt Marathon and so on. So that's more the classic, I would say, endurance type of events. And then a big part of our division is actually corporate fitness. So basically, it's mainly business runs. So we have in Germany the B2 Run series with more than 200,000 people normally taking place in corporate runs, where basically the client is not the individual, but it is basically the company that sends us the people. And then we have a third sub pillar within personal corporate fitness, which is called themed fitness. So where it's about a specific theme, and there we have 2 obstacle race series. One is athletics, and then one is Muddy Angel. It's dedicated only to women. Then we have quite an interesting new product since last year. It's called Megarmarsh. So basically, mega hike. It's basically very simple. You hike basically 50 or 100 kilometer, and it's a phenomenal business. It really has super growth rates, and it's an extremely cool experience to do this. And then one of the latest additions actually is the one you just spoke about. Is Hyrox. So Hyrox, there we basically want to create a sport in fitness, because there is no one key sport in fitness today, and we want, and it's basically a combination of endurance training and exercises, mainly body weight exercises. And that's also, it had substantial growth in Germany, and we brought it now to the US, and actually next year we will come to UK.
Yeah. So would that be kind of similar to CrossFit in terms of the way that
Yes.
it seems to be you have a big event, it's an indoor event.
Yes.
And you're bringing people together with teams and heats and that kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. No, absolutely. So that's a very good question. And when we did a lot of research before we entered into this, and I would say the problem a little bit with CrossFit is that it's a lot has to do with power, with strength exercises, and Hyrox is much more balanced, much more endurance driven. So basically, you run 8 times a kilometer, and in between you do strength exercises. So it's a much more balanced, basically, workout. And you see it also from the people that who take part in this. They are not bodybuilders or something. It's really a very, very good athletes. And I mean, there are athletes now out there. I mean, they are phenomenal. It's really crazy, and they specialize now on this type of things. And it's a really, really good combination. And we got a lot of sponsor attraction. So we could immediately find really good partners. For example, with Puma also in the UK, and that's a very, very big growth area we focus on.
Yeah. So I'm guessing of all of the mass participation events, because you do right across Britain with Deloitte, correct?
Yeah.
And obviously with Threshold, they have a number of events, obviously ultras and a number of races. So a lot of those races would be outdoors, and it's a bit more straightforward from a transition into the post-COVID world.
Yes.
Are you finding Hyrox more challenging, or actually have you got measures in place with Hyrox that you feel you can deliver those events equally as safely?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. So Hyrox, obviously, when you look at all the other events, and you just named it with Threshold and B2 runs and all the marathons, that's all basically business that is from, I would say, April through October.
Right.
Now with Hyrox, we have a complementary product now that is basically exactly in the other months.
Right.
And when I was actually attending the first event live in Hamburg, I couldn't believe how many backpacks I saw with an IRONMAN logo on it, for example. So it seems to also attract other people. They do this as a training, a competitive training, maybe during the winter time, because it's really an all body workout. It's not just endurance like running. It's really good with core body strengthening, and that's why I think it's a very good add-on.
Yeah.
And it's indoors, you're right. And that's the fact also why we will be able to hold our World Championships event this year. So it's scheduled for mid of December in Hamburg, actually. And keep fingers crossed, we should really get now the permission, because we can control exactly who goes into this event hall and who goes out. Right.
Okay.
So we have every name. We have everything under control. We can.
So spectator numbers. Sorry to interrupt. I'm guessing spectator numbers would be lower for this championships than you would have done previously, but just for keeping the crowd management side of things down.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So we will limit the number of basically just spectators, which is of course a pity, because I would say normally last time in Hamburg we had next to the athletes of 2,000, we had 12,000 people attending the event, which is enormous for a day. And some athletes, they brought the entire family and friends, and they were all cheering. And because you can be so close to the athletes, it's not like in a marathon where you see maybe your dad running by just in a couple of seconds. No, there you can basically behind him, and he does his workouts. And then on the 1 kilometer round of running, you always meet the people, and that's what makes it really also great from an emotion side. But of course, now we will limit the number of people that can enter the event hall.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And are you seeing that athletes are hesitant, or are they keen to just get on and race now? In terms of, I mean, obviously, race to race, it will differ. But you're finding with Hyrox and with your other races.
Yeah, no, we have, we also did some inquiries actually with our participants, whether it's B2Run, Hyrox, or Threshold, and in particular also in Hyrox, people, they want to go back, because also fitness centers, they are open again, at least here in continental Europe. I think it's the same in UK. So why you should not be able to do an event like this if you can go to a gym? I mean, it's not that much different. And we have a very good, together with a doctor from the German Olympic team, we developed, I would say, a really state-of-the-art Corona or COVID-19 compatible health concept, with disinfection after every round and everything. So we really hope to get this event done now.
Yeah. So obviously the US, you mentioned the US, that's been a market where we've certainly seen Ironman have some difficulties. Obviously they had to cancel Kona. We've seen a number of races, some of them go permanently, as well as some just obviously cancelled for this year. There was mention from the Endurance Sport Coalition that I think it was around about 80% of endurance sport events could be lost due to the pandemic. Now, my understanding is that that's actually events that are permanently lost. So with obviously your experience in Europe and also with Asia, do you feel that we're going to see a very different endurance sport world, where the US previously was the #1 market? Perhaps it will shrink back before it comes back again. Do you think that's possibly what we'll see? Or
no, I think when you say 80% of mass participation events will disappear, then I would assign it if it's meant to be just for this year. Yes, I think obviously I think we have 10% only of the events that originally were scheduled. But I see the picture mid and long-term perspective. Honestly, I'd be very, very good, because the underlying trends that really push these events forward are totally intact. You have this whole work-life balance. You have to focus on health, well-being, fitness. It has never been more than today, right? Entire digitization now. What we have seen, I think many of these aspects play a role. And going forward, finishing a marathon, a half Ironman, or whatever, so things money can't buy. You cannot buy finishing the London Marathon. You need to earn it somehow over a training of 6 to 12 months. This will remain. These emotions unique. You cannot just find somewhere else. And I would say, even though there have been a lot of, let's say, virtual and digital events now popping up, they will not replace the top events. I see them more complementary. And many of these, I would say, even digital events, they will not survive. They were just, in my view, just placeholders. But when we at Infront developed also, of course, virtual and digital assets, we always focus on things that we can retain as complementary product even when COVID will be gone. So we see this, and we had really great experiences. So let's say,
because you had was it the digital Swiss 5 in Switzerland? Was that right, with
yes,
the tour?
yes, exactly,
So
yes, exactly.
that was a
So
partnership with Ruby, yeah.
yeah, exactly. That was a partnership with Ruby, and I mean, this was really in the middle of the lockdown, so there was no sport at all on TV. There was not one event basically taking place in the world, and then we had this idea together with Ruby to launch a digital version of the Tour de Suisse, and suddenly almost all of the top teams showed up. They signed up their riders, and suddenly, we were on TV all over. We have more broadcasters than the normal Tour de Suisse almost. With BBC and NOS in the Netherlands and Swiss TV here, because there was no other live sport. And the people competed live. There were the top stars like Greg van Avermaet, Egan Bernal. All these top stars showed up, and they competed against each other. And this, I would say, showed a little bit what is really the potential of these digital and virtual events. Or for example, another example is, I think, from where you come from in the UK. As you know, we have the Threshold Trail Series, and obviously also we had to cancel it for this year, but we did then a virtual version. And then we just basically analyzed all the data, and it's really interesting to see that almost 65% of people that signed up for this virtual trail run, they were new customers. They have never booked an event at Threshold before. So there you see the potential of virtual and digital events. As a promotion tool, you bring new people to the sport because you lower the entry barriers to do. You can do somehow the event on your own and compare a little bit, and then maybe in the next phase, this will be customers of our real events.
Yeah.
And also as a community building tool. I mean, let's say you have a Berlin Marathon in September. You can build the road to the Berlin Marathon with maybe small community events or challenges where you do a joint 5K run. And I think it really, I would say, as many experts say, that with regard to overall digitization, that it basically brought the world 2-3 years forward or even more. I think it's the same actually in also in active lifestyle or in personal corporate fitness. It let also us focus on things like this, because normally we would have been in the delivery mode of April through now September to deliver one event or even 3-4 at the same weekend. Now we had actually time to really spend to develop these products, and that's why I'm confident they will remain, and it will be really good assets going forward.
Because you also you've made a number of tech acquisitions as well. So you're very digital is a very core part of your business, isn't it? Because
yes.
is it a lot of these, well, a number of these, if I recall, had an AI component to them. So there was Minutely, Video Cities, and I think there was the District
Yes.
app, which I think originates out of Singapore, which is more like an urban exploration type app.
Exactly.
So I suppose you see this marriage between tech and endurance sport as something that can only get stronger as we go forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So technology obviously plays not only the overall world of sport a big role. It's also key to keep up with the latest technologies in the endurance sport, obviously. And there we have seen or discovered a company called District. It's an urban exploration app basically, and now they have been essential basically to develop now also the product for B2Run, the virtual product for B2Run, which is called B2Mission. And so because they have basically the core technology we basically use now also for the virtual or digital B2Run, which is called.
With that whole exploration piece, do you feel that that's maybe a way that ultras could go? So you take an ultra run event, and you have an app, and then there's an element of discovery along that. So a bit like an orienteering adventure race. kind of
No,
combination.
exactly. That's exactly what it is. And obviously, given that you can do it independently, because in our B2Run series in Germany, we have events up to, in Munich, for example, there are 35,000 people. So there's no way that we can hold these events in this environment. But if we do it, in all the parks spread in for example in Munich, and the teams can go there in smaller groups, in just 3, 4, 5 people, and do a team building event with some challenges. And that's a completely different thing, and they still have then the community. They are together. They can achieve something as a team. But it's totally compliant with COVID-19 regulations, And this will be a good add-on because, we cannot in every city in Germany organize a physical B2Run, because obviously the fixed costs of such an events are much higher than the virtual ones. And that's, I would say, really the beauty of these type of things. I mean, there are so many things, we have as organizers of events. I think there's every week a new tech company called us, we have this and that, and we had to be really strict to evaluate really the best ones. And I think many things will also disappear again, but many things also will stay, and they will stay as really, really good products. I'm convinced.
So for the future, your message is that it's a very positive one, that this year has been a terrible year. Obviously, as you say, a lot of businesses are struggling, and hopefully those businesses have the cash flow to see them through into next year, which is obviously a key challenge for those companies. So that would be your final message, if you like, that the long-term prospects for endurance sport are very, very strong, and
absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, of course, it's a super challenging situation for all of us, but we cannot do something against it. I think we have to look forward. We have to stay positive. And when you really look at the global mega trends that influence our business in active lifestyle, in personal corporate fitness, it's about health, well-being, fitness. So this focus even got much bigger during this whole phase now. When you look at work-life balance, it's a huge push to this. People really want to have this now. When you speak about the experience economy, people want to make once in a lifetime experience. They want to do something with the right also purpose, right? The whole sharing community type of thing I think has also been strengthened during this phase. And not to speak what we just spoke with the whole digital and virtual. I mean, that's a huge push. Before it was just the wearable technology things and a little bit here and there. Now we have totally new technologies available for virtual things, and that's why honestly I'm totally positive. In my view, it's just a matter of time now to weather this storm. I think we have to of course also to make our homework. We need to get also as a company to get lean and fit. And we also need to cut costs and look really how we come out of this. But honestly, it will make us stronger for sure. And at some stage, I'm convinced we will look back at this whole phase now and say it was maybe a memorable phase. It was tough, but it has also its good things, right?
Yeah. As you say, hopefully it's something that's going to make us stronger and better. So
absolutely.
Thank you ever so much for your time. It's been a real pleasure speaking with you.
No worries. Thank you very much for your time, Gary.
Find out more how things go with Infront going forwards. Thanks again.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Ciao.